Everything's going well. I started the recording as well. I'm getting DMs now. Well, I am in a stream. I cannot answer you. Okay, okay, let's see. As I said, I haven't looked at the marks yet because what's it called? I took it's gonna be a horrible note to start a stream on, but I think it was well, it wasn't really in a row, but I essentially more or less took 3 losses in a row because I don't count the link win as a win because it just hit TP1 with half an hour and then hit break even. So I took a break. That's simple. Because we had a really good streak for a really long amount of time. Like we had a really good win streak. We made a ton of profit. And I was really happy with that. And then we came back. I came back to trading, and the market had kind of changed, and it just stopped working. So I wanted to mention that because I think there are a lot of new people here, and I think there's a lot of new people that really need to hear it as well. Um, and I just want to say that there's this thing in trading that even if you are a good trader, and I don't consider myself a great trader, there are way better traders out there, but I consider myself a decent trader. And the reason for that is that I know I have consistently between 80% and 70% win rate. And I want to mention that this is a good number in my eyes. However, that also means I still lose 20 to 30% of my trades. You do still lose. There is always a different side to the coin. Yeah, what's up here? There is always a different side to the coin. And I want everyone in here, especially the new people, to know that it is very, very important to not let these get to your head, but to know what to do when you go on a losing streak. And the reason why I say that is because I am a very big advocate of knowing how to lose. And I always say you should focus on your losses more than your wins. And the reason for that is a very cliche answer at first is that you learn more from your losses. But in the market, especially, this is very true. And not only the market, but in any competitive environment, this is true. So, albeit a sports game, albeit a video game, albeit the market, albeit whatever you want it to be, if it is something that you are competing in, and in the market we compete against other traders and against institutions, right? I view the market as a game personally, but we compete against other traders and institutions. And if you compete against others, you're going to get live feedback of what you're doing, what is good, what is wrong. And you need to be able to process that feedback. So when I go on a little losing streak, what I do is I stop trading. And the reason for that is one, I am clearly doing something wrong and I'm clearly not in the right headspace because with an 80% win rate, you should not lose 3 trades in a row. It can happen, but it likely shouldn't. But number two is you need time to process those losses, both to handle it psychologically, to be able to handle it and to go on to the next trade with actually a complete fresh mindset. But also, and this in my eyes is more important because we do all of those things like risk management to make sure we are allowed to make mistakes, right? Also to actually get the time to learn from our mistakes. Because when I take 3 losses in a row, well, I can learn from one loss, but maybe not the second one, maybe not the third one. That's going to take time. And I want to improve on this because it is something that I want to do in the long run. It is something I don't want to stop trading next week. I want to keep doing this for years on end. So I want to take those losses and I want to work on them, improve them, and then get better and do it again. So I really want everyone to know, especially the new traders, know that your losses are the most important trades. And know that you sometimes need time to actually improve on those losses. It is not something that just gets said because, hey, you need to find an excuse to be okay with your losses. It is actually true in my eyes that your losses are the most important trades. This is what you learn from. It is not this. This makes the number go up. You're happy with this. This makes the number go up in the long run. Because in the long run, this is going to make you spot mistakes. And this is going to make sure you're seeing more of this. As long as you handle it well. Make sure you handle it well. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before we start, especially because I know there's a lot of new traders and because there's a lot of people that just came into the market and got greeted with a very warm welcome by a minus like, what is it, 20% BTC candle. And then after that, an old flush. And we've all been there, honestly. We've literally all been there. But you need to find a way to handle it. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first. And on the other subjects, like for example, I mentioned having a system that allows you to make mistakes. And you really need to do that. You really need to allow yourself to make mistakes. If you have questions about that, you can always ask me or tag anyone in chat. Or even tag any of the support members in chat. And I will help you along gladly, because in the end, you need to be able to both tank this and you need to be able to improve on it. Okay. Now, if that's out of the way, let's take a look at the markets. And with my ME loss after the 70-19 win streak plays, yeah, exactly. I remember actually. It was 2 months ago, I think, or maybe 3 months ago. I still had the white charts, the light layout, and I remember we went on a 23 win streak, something like that. It was 22 or 23, which is ridiculous. In the markets, going on that win streak is ridiculous because they were both shorts and longs. It was not just the market going up infinitely. It was just long, long, long. No, we took it in both directions. And I remember taking a loss after that, and I was really disappointed with that loss because that was a loss where I just didn't. Not because I lost, because I don't care about the loss. Like, we're going on a 22 win streak. I don't care about one loss. Like, no one cares about that. But that one loss was like a random injective short that didn't have all too much effort in it. I just didn't follow my system. I just took the play because I saw it. And I don't remember a single one of those wins. Like, quite genuinely, I don't remember a single chart. But I do remember that injective loss. Because that one mattered a lot more. That was... Oh, I can't actually... My CPU is slowly dying because Intel is not that good at making CPUs. It was this short. Right here. What was it? No, it was not this one actually. Is it this one? It was on a bat right here. Yeah, it was this bat. And I remember that one more than any of the losses because it's like... Why did I do that? Yeah, I think it was this one. You can find it in my channel anyway. Okay. Let's get to the markets. We are pushing, actually. Okay, my stop loss at entry is gonna get it. Okay, let's see. I want to go over USDT dominance because I think USDT dominance is an incredibly important chart at the moment. Then I want to go over BTC and I want to go over BTC dominance because I know most of you are on altcoins. And then we're going to go to something else. Can you adjust your stream to 1080p? Wait, is it actually on high res? Because I know a lot of people have issues with that actually. Oh yeah, streamed for my friend too much. This should fix it. I think that fixed it. It should still be good, right? 1080p. Yeah, I read it. I read it. I screenshotted it as well. Because I'm going to call you out on that if it doesn't happen. Because I don't think it happens. Even when we're doing this, I don't think it happens. When it's 103.5 over here. It might, honestly. You might tap those highs. Okay, so let's go over that. First chart I wanted to go over is USDT dominance. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to ask a very important question. And this question is, what do we usually look for in longs? Well, because we have been playing more or less the same setup over the past months, like the past 2 months, and that is a few things. And keep in mind, I'm on a very high time frame chart. Whatever I do right now doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Like, this is a weekly chart. Whatever we come to the conclusion of can literally take like 3 more candles before it even starts. So, what do we usually look for? I am a harmonic trader, so I look for harmonics first. Now, when I look at this chart, I see a very nice harmonic, which is a butterfly right over here. Now, this is not a very clean butterfly for the reason that this is not a 1272. However, butterflies have this unique property that they also form on the 141 and the 1618. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this one out manually to visualize what the harmonic looks like. And then I will show you what I mean. So when we look at this, you might see a lot of random lines on the screen. I recommend not looking at every individual line because the individual lines don't matter that much. Look at places where the fibs are very dense. So for example, this area really stands out because there are like 5 lines on the exact same spot. This is a very important area. That's also why you can see that we use this as resistance multiple times. As resistance over here, came back, and this is where we got a little dead cat's bounce from before we went lower. Now, I want to mark the important areas in boxes to remove this chart clutter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place those boxes on important levels. That's box number 1. There's a nice little box over here as well. And then I have 2 boxes. And the reason why I mark these is for this reason. This is a 1.618, which is a very important level. And this is a 224. 224 is a very important level as well. These numbers specifically have more value in my eyes. The reason why is because they are more directly related to the Fibonacci sequence. 1618 is a primary number, and 224 is a secondary number. So these are very closely related. These are very good numbers. And the second one is this one. You might not be able to see it on stream, but you have very dense lines. Like these are 3 lines right on top of each other. It's at the exact same point. So those are our levels. Those are our little boxes. I'm going to hide the fibs to make it easier to read, and we are going to zoom in. What do we see when we look at this chart? And if you don't trade harmonics, that is okay. You likely trade support and resistance. We can view these boxes as support and resistance, as liquidity pockets, for example. For example, as, let's say, an order block. We have a little order block over here. These boxes are essentially the same thing. So what do we see when we look at this? What I see when I look at this is I see a very strong reaction. We tap this area, and we got a very strong reaction up. I posted this area on my channel right before we hit it, right? We got a very strong reaction up. From the bottom to the top, 15%. This was the first dump that we got on Bitcoin, was right over here. And then the second one that we got on BTC and also together. It's right over here. This area is currently being held as support. And we have validated it as support by showing a reaction like this. Now, that is part 1 of the trade setup we've been taking for a while. We've been taking 2 more very crucial confluences to the setup we've been taking. One of them is a liquidity grab, or an SFP. Now, I posted a post in my channel regarding SFPs, and I linked everyone to it whenever it got asked in chat. I'm going to keep it short here for that reason. Long story short, when I go back on that weekly time frame, what we see, we have a wick over here, a very important wick. This is a swing low, essentially, because this entire move stopped right over here. And then we got a very significant bounce. Like not some little small bounce, but a very significant bounce. This was a 30-week consolidation range. Now, this wick is very significant. So on a regular chart, we can assume that there are stop losses right over there. Because everyone that longed somewhere in this area very likely put their stop losses right over there. Now, not everyone did that. A lot of them did. Some might have it over here on this little stop loss, with that little wick over there. Some might have it at entry, so we already tapped it out, like somewhere in this area, etc. That depends on the person. In general, a very hot spot for stop loss is going to be this wick. So that is why we can assume that it is very important that when we take those stop losses out, that we confirm that, hey, we now belong below this level, because we think this is a very important level. And if we close below it, we validate, hey, we now belong below this level. If we close above it, we validate, hey, we don't belong below this level. And I'm going to ask a very, very simple question, and that is, if we don't belong in this little box, and I will make it red. If we don't belong in this little box, in this red box, then where do we belong? Because by closing above it, we tell ourselves we do not belong below this level. If we don't belong over here, where do we belong? Exactly, above it. I think this is a sign that the market is not strong enough to continue. And I have said it a few times. I am not someone who trades in a way that I will say the market is going to go to this point. I don't do that. That is not the way I trade, because I cannot predict that. I don't know where the market's going to go. However, I am someone who trades in a way where I will say the market is not going to go in that direction. I will say, if we don't belong lower, then we go higher. It's very simple. If we don't belong lower, then, well, why don't I take that bet? Why don't I say, hey, we actually don't belong lower? Why don't I take that bet? And that is also why I trade harmonics, right? Because they give me, that's a part of it. They give me targets to do that. I can say, okay, we don't belong below this point. Well, where do we go? I'm going to give the technical targets for this. Now, I don't actually think we're going to hit these, for the record. I really don't. Technical targets are the 0.382 and this 0.618. I do not think we get these. And for that reason, I'm also going to give more technical targets, which I do think are realistic. And that is this 0.382 and this 0.618. Because there's a harmonic here as well. Now, this is a play I'm taking. This is a play I am in my mind. This is not a play I have actually taken, because we cannot long use the T dominance. No, I don't think we can. At least not that I know of. If we can, then I missed a really good entry, which is really sad, because that's a really nice trade. Because we have my two main confluences. We have an SFP, and we have a very high time frame harmonic. Now, I'm gonna shorten this part a little bit. We have a harmonic here as well. And the harmonic ends somewhere over here in this region. We're currently trying to flip it to support. The third confluence we have usually is a divergence on the oscillators. When we look at the oscillators, we have a divergence. A very big one as well. And I want to say a lot of people consider RSI reset once it reaches the 50 level. In harmonic trading, that is not the case. I want to say that first and foremost, the 50 level in harmonic trading means acceleration. It does not mean that the RSI is reset. Second of all, it hasn't hit yet. So no matter how we look at this, the RSI has not played out. This divergence is still active. That's what I want to point out. So this idea, this entire trade idea, is literally our textbook setup. This is the one we get an 80% win rate on. This is the one we average all of our R on. That's this setup right here. And it is showing on a very high time frame on a very important chart. So that's why I want to say, I think this is the first like warning sign we're getting. Hey, maybe this bull market is not forming the top, but maybe we should be cautious. And for that reason, I will gladly say I have gotten not entirely out of the market, because I don't think that's wise to do. I think having exposure is very smart. For example, my Bitcoin, I will not sell it. However, I have, as you know, mostly sold my short-term trades for this reason. And this reason is a very easy to play thesis, because essentially what we said is we do not belong in this box or below it. So if we confirm that we do belong below it, this trade idea is invalid, and I will now buy back into the market. It's that simple. So in this case, I mentioned in chat as well, I am macro bearish. That's because of this. Now, if we close this weekly chart below this wick, that will change entirely. If we close below this wick, I am macro bullish again. And that doesn't mean lower time frame, right? Because lower time frame, you can get a lot of good moves. On a very high time frame, I am not bullish anymore for this reason. Yeah, what's up, Caleb? Yeah, longs are doing good today. I just logged onto the markets and that is such a shame. It's gonna stop that entry. Okay. But that is why I mentioned in chat I am not macro bullish anymore. I'm macro bearish for this reason. Because this is the same setup we've been trading over and over again, and this is the one that works. It's our edge over the market. And it's showing on an incredibly high time frame. And for a bit of context, for those of you that don't know what UCT dominance is, UCT dominance stands for the amount of dominance that stablecoins have, right? Or in this case, USDT. It's the most important stablecoin. Doesn't matter. So if people put their money out of crypto into USDT, this chart's gonna go up. So that means if this chart is going up, crypto is going down. If this chart is going down, crypto is going up. You're very bullish for Q1, Q4 next year. Well, I can see that to some extent. However, it's hard to what's it called? I do time-based analysis, but it is a bit speculative, right? Time-based analysis is a lot harder to do. But the conclusion I come to with my time-based analysis is that the 27th is going to be a very important date. I don't think Trump's inauguration is going to matter at all. I think it's going to have the opposite effect. I think that's going to mark a cycle top, probably. And the reason for that is what I always say with news events. If a news event is 100% sure, and we have a set date for it, then it will not have the effect people want. Same with the ETF. We know when it's going to happen. We know when trading is going to go live. It is inarguably bullish that an ETF gets released. And for that reason, it is not going to work out. Because of the efficient market hypothesis. Now, I go over the efficient market hypothesis a lot. This stream is not really meant for that. But long story short, if everyone thinks something, they're going to act accordingly. And then, what's it called? They're going to act accordingly, and then on the actual date it's supposed to happen, they're going to do the opposite because they have already bought said asset because they think it's going to go up. Yeah, Bitcoin will increase over time. That's also why I said, like, I haven't sold my Bitcoin. I don't plan on selling any. There's no reason for me to sell any of my long-term Bitcoin bags. There's no reason to sell any of my long-term Aave bags, right? But as traders, like, if we are going to go into a downtrend for like 2 or 3 months, I want to know that. Yeah, I don't sell BTC. Like, I trade BTC as well sometimes. I will have a BTC trading bag. Like, I will buy BTC and sell it higher. But in the end, I also just have a long-term BTC like that I will never sell because there's no reason to. Because I think it's going to go up over time. Over time, it will go up, so I have no reason to risk not being in it. Okay, now I went over a lot on this chart. Are there any questions about what I just said? And if you're new to the stream, you can also just ask beginner questions. That's completely fine. If there's anything I skipped over that you don't know, just ask it. Q4 earning reports. I don't know what Q4 earnings reports are going to be. Let's look at the SPX. Are they going to be soon? But when's like the meeting? Earnings start at like kind of a set time, right? Can you start from the beginning? Absolutely not. You're gonna have to watch the recording, brother. It is all recorded though. I started the recording before we started. It released mid-January next year. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, that can happen. Now I will also mention one thing that helps the bearish bias. This is one of the there are not a lot of absolutes in the market, but there is one, and that is tax harvesting. I always expect a Christmas dump, like literally always. I think that is one of the guaranteed points in the market. And what I mean by that is in the United States, there is a tax system. I am not going to go into details for it because I'm not qualified to do that. And I'm not 100% sure about all of the details of it, but what matters for us, that's what I know about. And that is that your taxes, for especially for wills, institutions, etc., it really matters that your taxes at the end of the year are calculated based on your profits. You pay taxes based on your profits. So if you have positions that are in a loss before year's end, you can sell those positions, and because you take a loss on them, you will have less wins. So you will pay less taxes. That is something that happens every single year. So when we look at the charts, and we look at recent times, right? And we want to know, okay, where are people's losses? Well, if I look at Bitcoin, I don't think anyone has a losing position into Bitcoin. That is very difficult to do. Because no matter where you bought, you are in profit. So for tax harvesting, I don't think anyone is selling Bitcoin. But when we look at altcoins, when we look at, for example, let's look at Ethereum, right? Let's not look at this Ethereum chart, actually, wait. It's part of the entire light show. Yeah, Spider-Man chart. Let's look at Ethereum, right? Short sales over here are a major loss. Now on Bitcoin, those losses have already been cashed out, right? If you short a Bitcoin, you are liquidated. Because it just doubled in a few weeks. On Ethereum, the people that bought over here in this region, ETF got accepted over here, if I remember correctly, or somewhere over here. Yeah, this was the news from this where it got accepted. There is slight profit. Everyone that shorted are lost. This is not one of the main assets we look at. Now, Ethereum did fine. Despite what people think, despite what people are saying about Ethereum, Ethereum did fine. When we look at other altcoins, that's where I'm going to start running into issues. Link is doing fine now. Link only very recently started doing very fine. AVAX, people that bought over here are now in a loss. Injective, everyone that bought over here is in a loss. Lamau, that is a disgusting chart. But even with that, everyone that bought in this range is in a loss. Now, when people are going to cash out losses, I think coins like these are going to tank the hardest. I think FED specifically is in a very good spot to be a victim of tax harvesting, for the reason that this was a very highly traded range, and especially on this part, people loved AI coins. I do not have what's it called, a solution for the person in chat. That's sad. Okay, anyway, this was a very heavily traded range, and euphoria on AI coins was immense over here. So if people are still in positions from over here and they need to harvest losses for taxes, I think AI coins are one of the main candidates. But in general, the sector doesn't matter all too much. In general, I think altcoins are going to take a heavy hit. This is the reason why. So for tax harvesting, tax harvesting always happens, and then my personal assumption is that altcoins are going to take a heavier hit than majors. Especially BTC. I don't think BTC is going to be affected all that much. Okay. Now, those were the things I absolutely wanted to talk about. Those were the things I absolutely wanted to have mentioned. I mean, that's also this chart, right? This is the chart I showed a while ago. This is the main chart I use for charting nowadays. I think USDT dominance is a very important chart. Now, I wanted to showcase the difference between the totals, but the difference has kind of changed over the last few days, so there's not that big of a difference anymore. Because all of these are essentially at the same spot. I think these coins, apart from total one, so the total crypto market cap. Total crypto market cap is very clearly at resistance, but it is not a very strong resistance. The others are somewhere in the middle of important levels. These are not very interesting charts at the moment. BTC dominance is still in the same spot as my last market update. But I mute the music, the speaker gets muted too, it seems. Well, well, you shouldn't be muting the speaker then. That would solve the issue. Okay, BTC dominance is still in the same spot that we talked about earlier. On my last market update, we are now bouncing from the chart, right? This is the area where I said I think BTC dominance is going to get a good bump. This is still my target area. We might have slightly front-ran it. I still think we're going to this area. The chart hasn't changed much. In general, the last update we had, macro update, we've hit our levels. I cleared the chart, I think. Lower time frame level, we're in the middle of two parts. This is not an interesting chart at the moment. Now, when we get to this level, so 58.25 or 55.3, that is going to be important. This is a level where I would hypothetically short this chart. This is a level where I would long this chart. But that's about it for the majors at the moment. I think the majors, better said, I think the index charts are not that important at the moment. Not that interesting. So now that we've done that, we have quite some time. So let's go over some coin requests. If you have some coins you want me to look at, put them in chat. I'm going to try to go over all of them. Go over them one by one. Okay, let's do that. CFX, Pepe, LPT, Link, and Injective. Okay. For most of these, I already have a chart. I'm going to start with CFX. Because I think this chart in general is in a pretty good spot, macro-wise. And I think this chart is very interesting. Now, let me remove all of this real quick. Things like that? Yeah. Okay, let's look at this. So, when I look at CFX, this is one of the main coins I'm interested in at the moment. I really like the chart of this coin. We have two very important levels. First of all, when we look at the first part, our first major pump, because this is just essentially the major downtrend, right? When we look at our first major pump, we can see that we formed a very nice bat on the way here. Now, you might notice how you bat, this is a 786. If you actually trade harmonics, I treat this as a Leo. The reason why is if I show all of the fibs, you can see that there's a very dense cluster in this area. So for that reason, this is our support, MIS. This is the main level we're using as support. It's this bat right over here. Now you can see that even after all of this movement we did, we came back and we used it as support again. Same bat, same place, we used it again. this is what we bounced off of. Now, when we zoom out, a very high time frame, you can see that I have this very, very big guard over here. I removed one of the boxes. Something you don't often see me do is long or short into the D point of a harmonic. Like I will trade one harmonic and then use a, let's say, a different harmonic as a target. So we would long from here to here. However, there is no harmonic in this area. As far as I know, at least. My charting skills have improved a bit since I tried this last time, but I don't see any significant. I think it might be a cipher, actually. Just saw it. Yeah, okay, there's a cipher over here. This is the 618786 right over here. But I think this area in general is very interesting for the reason that when we show all of these fibs, it's a very dense cluster of fibs right over here. And this is a very important level because we see 4 primary fibs, or well, 2 primaries and, well, 1 primary and 3 secondary fibs right over here. And we use this area as support and resistance quite some time. So this, in my opinion, is a very important level. I think whenever this chart is below this level, we are bearish. Whenever we are above it, we're bullish. So as long as CFX is staying within this range, I am not trading it personally. The moment we flip it to support, I'm going to look for an entry again. And if we go back and flip this to resistance, I'm going to look for a short. So that is my CFX chart mostly. That's also why I have this as a godly pivot point. We either flip this to support and run higher, or we flip it to resistance and run lower. And the targets are obviously the other boxes. So this would be the target for a short, and right over here for a long. That's my CFX chart. The Pepe. I have a Pepe chart as well, but it is a bit outdated because I charted it and then literally like a few hours later, Pepe just started absolutely sending it. Yeah, Injective's on there, don't worry. LT is also on there. If you ask one more time, I'm removing it from the list. Okay. So the reason why I said Pepe is a bit outdated is because on a macro time frame, this is the only harmonic we have. Because this high doesn't really form anything up to the 113. So we don't have anything that reaches up until this point. So for that reason, I think Pepe is one of the most strong coins out there. Because I don't have a single reason to be macro bearish on this coin. Everything on this coin is getting flipped to support, right? This is our harmonic right over here. We just broke through it, came back, flipped to support. We deviated below it slightly, and we just gapped out of it. We have an N-star over here, could flip to support entirely, and we went higher. I think on a macro time frame, this coin is just very bullish. Until we actually like lose this shark, I think this coin is one of the strongest coins out there. I will add Soul to the list. It's at the bottom of the list though, because you just suggested it. Now, when we look at this, we can easily say, okay, we did have resistance. This is what we shorted, right? We shorted this with like literally the entirety of Unity because because I don't even know why. I don't know what happened. But that was a very fun day. So I think this is still resistance. So we need to start closing above this because this is a very important level now. Shorts. I am not looking for shorts on Pepe, so I will not chart them. Shorts on Pepe can only be taken if you're very reactive. If you see, for example, an SFP of this high, if you SFP this high, then you can maybe take a short because this is a very important high. However, in general, I would be looking for longs. So I would simply take this box over here. Or if you just want to get in and don't care about the risk to the watch, you can enter maybe this diagonal and then you target eyes. Somewhere like this. I'm not someone who sets limits, right? You can probably set a limit order for this. I would personally take it on a reaction instead. Now, do I think this goes there? No clue. I don't know if it's going to go there. I don't think it does. I think Pepe is really strong. However, if it does, I think this is a very good area of interest for longs. Especially what I said at the start of the stream, right? I don't know where a coin is going to go. I just know that if we get here and we react, I know we're not going to go below the box. Okay, that is it for Pepe. Pepe is a bit boring because Pepe is just too strong. I don't have like both ways to chart. There's no reason to chart shorts on this. Like I can chart this, for example, because there's a very obvious guard here. But I want to take this. So that's why. There is a guard here. This is very valid bearish, in this case a deep guard here, but I want to take this. So I'm not gonna put this on the chart because I think this is way too risky. Okay, LPT. Whoa, what is that? I feel like I've charted this coin before. No, okay. I feel like I have though. It should be on a different layout, whatever. LPT. Let's see where the ratios align. This might look a bit weird, but I think this, yeah, this kind of align. So what I'm looking for there is, whenever I look for harmonics, the first thing I look for is the X to B. So I take a very obvious high and a very obvious low. And then the first high after that. So I look at that, and then I check if the ratio is correct. Now, this one was the first obvious high, but the ratio wasn't correct, so we cannot use that. So I have to use this one. Now, LPT actually reacted very well off of these levels. Even came back for the retest for that 786 over there. Let's see. I mean, now we have the reason why it's downtrending, or why it went down now. But let's see where it's gonna go. This didn't form anything. So we have to go off of old levels instead. Let's see, I'm just looking at liquidity levels over here. So you see we have a ton of wicks over in this level, which has clearly been a very important level in the past for liquidity. So I'm just going to take these wicks. I don't know why I did that. Take these wicks. No, okay, we don't have that either. I don't like this chart. I think it's going to go a bit lower. So I'm just going to use a macro fib instead. Let's accidentally press paste. I don't even know what I have on there. And my fans. Okay, so you do have reason to say that it's gonna go up now. You don't like this coin either. Okay, so there it is. This is a macro 0.13. This is what we're using as support and resistance. So you know this is going to be support and resistance ever since we formed the low over here. And that's also why we reacted over here. Even though there doesn't seem to be any SR level over there. It's because this fib is there. That's why we're reacting off of. Same with the 0.13. So when we look at that, and we have a diagonal 786 right over here that we bounce off of. Now, we broke out of the 0.13 again. We are likely coming back for a retest. We don't have to come back for a retest, but if you want to get an entry on this, this would be a very good level to do so. What should I do if this is all Chinese? Okay. a very quick guideline as to how to read fibs if you don't know how they work. The diagonals are trend lines. The horizontals are support and resistance. It is that simple. Now, whenever I say a bunch of numbers, that is usually just fib. The actual number doesn't matter that much. If the number does matter, I will mention it, and I will explain why. So in this case, this is just support and resistance. It's a very high time frame support and resistance. This is a very high time frame trend line. So we bounce off of this diagonal fib, or the high time frame trend line. We bounced off of it and then broke out the 0.13 level. So now we could come back for a retest. I'm not saying it should, it doesn't have to, but if it does come back, you might get a really good entry. Yeah, it is that simple. Now, actually putting them down there and trading it is a bit harder, right? But reading them is pretty simple because you're used to other systems already. So you can simply use those systems to read this. So what I would look for is something like this, where if you get a retest of this, you can maybe take a long, and your main TP is going to be this level, this 0.786. It's going to be slightly lower than that, so something like that. This is a long you could consider if you see a good reaction to this level. So as for your question, should I get out? I'm stuck in a position, should I get out? I am not going to tell you to hold a coin or to, like, I'm not here to give you direct financial advice, right? What I would do for this coin if I was in a spot position is I would cut it if we went below this line. Or if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to use diagonals, I would make it a bit simpler. I would say, hey, these candle closes over here are very important. If we close a candle below that, that's when I would get out. Because at that point, you cannot reliably say, hey, I think it's going to go up. At that point, this is a very clear downtrend. And if you're looking to get into this coin, I would do so at this level. Now, where I would get out is right over here. 23,272. That's a very good level to get out. Because that is a very high time frame bearish harmonic, right? So this level would be good for shorts. That is LPT. Okay, the next one was Link and then Injected. Link is actually a very interesting chart. For the reason that I hate this chart, first of all, because there are no macro harmonics here. There's barely any macro harmonics on Link, which is really interesting because coins are, some coins have it, right? Coins that don't get traded. But Link does get traded. Link is a very popular and high cap coin, right? There's one obvious harmonic, and that's this one. That is a bat right over here. This little box is a bat. So on a very high time frame, when we're looking at it on this time frame, this is my target for Link. Very bluntly put. I think this is where I would sell my Link. Now, if we actually get there, that is a different story. And the reason for that is the same reason why I looked for Link shorts. And that is this little line over here. This is a very important high. And the reason why I say that is because before all of this, Link was uptrending. This is the first play where we kind of suggested that the uptrend might have stopped. But then we made another higher low, so you're like, okay, maybe we're going to compress. This is the high that ended up sending it down. So this is a very important high in my opinion. This is also an important high. I'm not excluding this, so is this one. If we close the weekly below this level, then we have a very high time frame SFP, and that is a very bad sign. That, in my opinion, means we're going to go a bit lower to retest a different support level. Now, where that support level is going to be, that is an entirely different question. It could just be the B point of this bat, right over here. It could also be, let's say, the wick over here. Or the little order block we have over here, right? This old box. Could also be this one. If we close the weekly below this level, and that is very important. This is a very important if. then in theory, I would take this short. So let's say we close like right here. This is the short. And this is your TP1, this is your TP2, this is your TP3. But that's a very important if, because if we don't do that, if we close above it, we now prove that we do belong above this level. If we do, then I think Link looks very, very good. I think if that happens, and we can maybe even flip this little box over here. This is a flip cluster. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna put a lot of lines on the screen. Don't get scared. Okay, that is too much. Wait, what? Why is there separation folder? Spider-Man mode activated. Okay. I swear, I saw like 2 people leave the moment I turned it on. That's really funny. Long story short, you don't have to look at everything. There are a lot of numbers in this box. That's essentially everything. A lot of numbers in this box. That makes it an important level. I'm gonna turn this off again. This isn't readable. This is a bit better, right? It's still not readable. I don't think anyone can read this if they're not used to it. Okay, my bad. This chart is worse than I thought. I'm just getting memed into oblivion now. Long story short, this little box is a very important level. That's the easier version. I promise you that there is method to the madness. That's why the boxes look like this instead. Guys, you have no open trades going into this weekend, bro. No, I don't. Apart from like the active spot positions we have some long-term spot. Apart from that, no. Because I explained it at the start of the stream, I took more losses than I wanted to, so I am taking a little break to process the losses to improve from it, and I come back better. To stake ME or not, I'm going to give you a note to that. The reason for that is that Magic Eden launched at a ridiculously high market cap, and it is unbelievably overvalued for that reason. The FTV of Magic Eden is the price of the token times a billion. So if ME... You know what? I'm going to finish the story in a bit. I'm going to finish Link first. The last thing I wanted to say about Link is we close the daily above this level, which is a very strong sign. If we now close this daily above it as well, and then we wait for the weekly, because as I said, the weekly can SFP. If the weekly closes above this level, and the daily is flipping it to support, I think you can just long Link. If we get confirmation on the closes, and we start closing above it, I think you have reason to like add onto a Link long or add into a spot position, etc. But that is only if we actually start closing above. The weekly really needs to close above. Otherwise, this is just an SFP, and that means we're going to go lower. So that is it for Link. I will put it onto the chart as well. Very important weekly close. You need to close above this high to remain bullish. The box is just there by quote-unquote coincidence, right? What we really care for at the moment is this high over here. Okay, I'm going to finish my Magic Eden story now. Magic Eden launched way too high of a price. Magic Eden's market cap's way too high. Now this chart does look like it's bottoming out, right? This is forming around the bottom. This is doing this. But as for staking it, I would not stake this because the market caps are way too high. The FDV, so the fully diluted value of Magic Eden, is the dollar price times a billion because it has a billion supply. This token is not worth 4.2 billion. That's how I want to put it. This is a token by an NFT marketplace on a token that looks disgustingly bad on the macro time frame. And it is cross-chain now, but by far most volume is coming from Solana as far as I'm concerned. An NFT marketplace token should not have this market cap. You can compare it to other NFT tokens if you want. I think Blur is one. This doesn't look good at all. Like, as you can see with Blur as well, it started forming a little rounded bottom, then made a bigger rounded bottom, and now it's forming a double bottom. It is getting traded, but people don't really care about this. This chart doesn't look good. On a very high time frame, I would not trust Magic Eden at all. Can't see video. Is that the case for everyone? I don't think it is. I would have seen more messages. Okay. So that's it for Magic Eden. Quick explanation, no, I would not stake it. I think this token is overvalued. Now, trading it is a different story, right? You can trade it because the price will tell you what it's going to do, but on a high time frame, and that's what you're looking for staking, wouldn't do it. Okay, I was going to over Injective next. Oh yeah, I gave that exercise to my students a while ago. I will say this is quite possibly the best macro chart out there. And the reason why I say that is let's do a little bit of time frame analysis, time frame alignment. Yeah, Solana's after this. I didn't forget you, I promise. Let's do a little bit of time frame alignment. When we start on a very high time frame, start on a monthly, what do we see? We see an uptrend. That's all I want to know from the monthly. Are we uptrending or downtrending? We're uptrending. It's that simple. This is our high, low, high, low. Higher, high, higher, low. Injective is uptrending on a monthly. We're going to the weekly. What we're doing is we are breaking out of this consolidation cluster. On a weekly, we can see a few very important closes over here. Let me actually go onto a fresh chart so I don't mess this up. If I mark out all of these closes, all of these candle closes, because candle closes matter a lot on a high time frame. We're trying to break out of this and trying to reclaim it. If we close above this level, in my eyes, we now have 1, 2, 3 closes above the level, which is very good confirmation that we now belong higher. We belong higher than this level if we do that. This happens, I think Injective is in a very good spot. I think this is one of the best looking charts out there. And the reason for that is on top of that, we have completely broken daily structure. This was a downtrend, right? This was our first kind of attempt at a structure break, but we then broke it back. So take the high here, and then we completely break it. You can break it over here in this high or on this high. This chart is uptrending on the daily, no matter how you look at it. This chart is now uptrending on the weekly, the monthly, and the daily. This is a good macro chart. If you're looking for longer term positions, I think Injective is perfect. And that is at a good level to do so as well. It is not at a level where I would say, hey, you're going to full port this and you're going to probably come on and profit. But it is at a level where I would say, if you don't have spot exposure, you should probably start a position here. If you like Injective, this is a really good place to get in. Because on that weekly close, you're going to get a lot of confirmation that, hey, we actually do belong higher. If I had a spot position open from this area, I would add back on this weekly close. That's how I would treat it. Now, I obviously do have Injective spot, but I never gave it as a signal. And the reason for that is because we had so much open back when Injective was at this area, I just couldn't call it anymore, right? But I am planning to add a new spot position as a signal when this happens, and I'm going to add to it myself as well. Because I really want more Injective. I think this chart looks fantastic. Now, because we are uptrending, actually, I'm gonna emphasize on that. Where I go to be here. Because we are uptrending, we can assume an uptrend. It is that simple. If we have a high, we have a low, we have a higher high, and a higher low. So logically speaking, a higher high should come next. This chart is uptrending. There's no reason for us to assume that we are suddenly going to randomly make a lower high. Now that can absolutely happen. That's possible, and that's why we take profits before that happens, right? So we'll take profit over here. But we can realistically assume a new high. So where would that be? First of all, if you want to look for price discovery targets, I always say take all-time high, take your bear market low, or in Ejective's case, a mid-cycle low. And you're going to look at the 1272 and the 1.618. That's simple. 63 and 77. Now, we can do better than that. When I take this, and I obviously know the injective chart, so I'm going to show it like this. We can see that we have an AB equals CD right over here at 63.7. 63.7 is my macro target for injective. So, as for injective, I think injective is in a fantastic spot. I think if you want to add into altcoins, I think injective is one of the coins you should be looking at, especially if the weekly closes above. It is uptrending on every high time frame. It is flipping important levels. The daily structure is uptrending as well now. You have very clear high targets. This anti-butterfly is essentially just your range high, right? If you trade traditional TA, this is essentially just your range high. Yeah, very easy targets to take profits at. Yeah, very easy invalidation if you lose the box again. I really like injective. What do you think about XRP? It seems like a ton of bullish news going on. I ignore news entirely. News is very good at telling you what has already happened. News is very bad at telling you what is gonna happen. And I'm gonna give the same example as always for that. What happened with arguably the most bullish news event in Ethereum's history? What happened when the ETF started trading? News does not matter. Bullish news is often not bullish. The ETF getting approved is arguably one of the best things to happen fundamentally for Ethereum. It put Ethereum into a very good spot, and it tanked. And you can argue, hey, that is because of market conditions. That is entirely true. That is technical analysis. So I completely ignore news, because this is technical analysis. It is not news. So as for XRP, we can go to XRP after Sol. I'll add it to the list. But I recommend not looking at the news for these things. Look at the charts. Because the charts will tell you a lot more than the news. Yeah, you've got completely destroyed. Nice ETF approval. Or while the ETF got approved over here. Ethereum is like actually the best example. Do you think they could be the next big bubble? XRP. Oh, AI coins. The next big bubble. No, the bigger bubble is probably just AI. But I think Ethereum is a very good chart to showcase why fundamentals, especially news, just simply don't matter. This is where the ETF got approved, somewhere in this region. This is where the ETF started trading. These are both very good events. Fundamentally, you cannot argue that the ETF getting approved is bad for Ethereum. And same for here, the ETF starting trading is not bad for Ethereum, it's very good for Ethereum. But somehow it went down. Why? Because fundamentals don't matter at all. It is all in the charts. Okay, where were we? I went over injective. Did I share the injective chart? No, I didn't. That's where we were. Yeah, so a little thing for injective though, I think it's gonna range. We're in the middle of two very important spots. I do think if the weekly close here, it's a very good spot to buy, but in general, I think we're gonna range for it and eventually break out. If you lose these lows, that's when you would cut your position. Or that's what I would do. I'm going to say it like this, but it's going to also do that, and then higher or lower. In general, I think injective looks really good. Okay, it was link injective. It was render and then Solana. It's on the list, lads. It's on the list. I'm going top to bottom through suggestions. If you want to know like how far your coin is in the queue, just scroll up a little. And I'm actually just doing it top to bottom. Solana, please. I'm gonna go with Solana in a second, I promise. Oh, this took the high, didn't it? That is such a shame. Okay, well, assuming... Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Wait, yeah, Rio, do you know by any chance if there's a way to see if on a perpetual chart it wicked this? Because I have no idea, and this is very important to know. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I guess we already know the reaction. It kind of sucks. Okay, yeah, let's get on to render. Well, I said, do you know if there's any way to know if on a perpetual chart this wick die? Because if we go onto render user t.p, there is no chart. Oh, there is. Wait, what? Binance haven't changed that? I really appreciate that, Binance. It did not. Okay. I think that's why it's very important to know. If this wicked the high, that means that all of the shorts that were in this area were gone. It would have been stopped out now. And then this is a reaction to the liquidity. However, because it didn't wick the high, the liquidity is still there. So this could still act as some sort of magnet and then SFP later on. So because of that, I will say, I think that makes render look a lot better. It does look like it's downtrending. It doesn't look that good on current market price. However, no, that actually just doesn't look that good. There is no however. Because there's just a guardian over here. Very good one as well. I don't think this chart looks that good. Rent on a very high time frame does look good. Because on a very high time frame, there's also a guardian over here. That's why I bounce off this guardian. However, when we look at a chart like this, and I see a guardian like this, and the reason why I say this is a really good guardian is because not only is the 1.618 almost at the same spot as the 786, this 1.618 also corresponds with a 0.618. And what I mean with that is if we draw this, we draw a little to the right, this is minus 450 more or less. We take that minus 450 and we put it over here. What you're going to see is that we get to the same spot as a D point. This is called an ABCD. This is a very confluent area. This is an area I cannot ignore as someone who trades harmonics. If it hits this area, I will long really hard, because this is very confluent. However, this area being there is not that good for the token. So it doesn't have to hit this level. But considering how confluent it is, and even aligning it with something like just these wicks on the left, right, it is at the exact same spot. This wick over here is at 5.6 and the ABCD ends at 5.64. This is very confluent. So I would be careful with this coin. If you're looking for altcoins, I would prefer a different one at the moment, because I do think render looks really good on the macro time frame, but this aligning so perfectly with literally everything kind of concerns me, because that gives me an idea like, hey, maybe we are just gonna go over there. And that's what I said earlier about liquidity. This point stands. On Binance, this could act as a magnet. However, because of the rename, at least that's what they did with Fed. What they did with Fed is they close every leverage position when the merge happened, when the rename happens. That could have also happened for Render, which would mean that there is no liquidity. I am not sure about that. That could be a thing. So I don't know how reliable this front run is. I do think this is very interesting area. So what I will say is I would absolutely long this area. I would even slightly front run it. Stop slightly below the structure that we've built over here. Or maybe just put it on that entry. And then long it up to new highs probably. Because on a high time frame, same thing as with with injective, right? There's a high over here. I don't want to go to a different chart. There's a high, there's a low. High, high, low. This is an uptrend. So you just long into new highs, most likely. High time frame, really good. Lower time frame, I think you might get 5.6. Now 5.6 is going to be a very good buy if you do get it. See, do we actually have a bearish harmonic? Because I think we do. So one over here. Yeah. We have technically already put in that C point. Doesn't look that confluent. Okay, I'm just gonna put a line here. I think it rejects over here. Or just right now. That could also happen. It could just go down and then we bounce off there. I'll remove this for chart clarity. It's a very nice clarity actually. I would not enter spot CMP render. No, I wouldn't. But that is also partly because if you were there to start, Redner. If you were there to start, wait, let me actually change that. I told you my macro outlook, and my macro outlook is not good. My macro outlook is very cautious, so I am not gonna CMP new spot positions, and the reason for that is because let's say you enter. Essentially, what you're saying is we are putting in a low over here, with this being our previous low. So this is not too bad of an invalidation, but this is still a pretty wide stop. This is still a 14% stop for a TP1. Okay, it is not too bad. I don't like this. I don't like risking 14%. I think that's too much for my liking on spot. So I wouldn't take it. And I personally think that as long as we don't break the C point, I think there's a very good chance we get over to this level. But do note, uncompleted harmonics like this one don't mean that it has to go there. That is something I currently think is going to happen, but that's my personal judgment. What the harmonic is telling us is if it gets there, we long. That's what the harmonic tells us. This being here doesn't mean it's going to go there. And to give an example for that, I'm just assuming that this is also a B point, because if the chart is that perfect, it has to be a B point. There's a butterfly. So this is a reason for that. It can also just go over here. There's an uncompleted harmonic over there as well at 60. What I will say, if you really want to enter this coin, you can decide to start light, to start with, let's say, for example, 20%, and either DCA when you go a bit lower, and then you cut when you lose the low, or add up when you once you flip the C point to support. That is possible, but I would not like fully enter a TMP. You can start a position here. I still don't think that's a good choice. I think it is a good choice to just let this go until a better setup presents itself. But if you really want to get in, this is not a bad place to start a position. Your validation is just breaking this low, most likely. But that's a trend. The only play I'll actually give out is that long over there. I think that's going to work out really well. I think that's a good long, if we get it. And you're welcome. Okay, Solana. before I get spammed more Solana questions. Okay, so from our last positions, literally nothing has changed, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I want to showcase a few things. One, for Solana, we have put in an SFP at all-time high. What does that mean? There are no shorts left in this region. We wicked them out, we closed below, proved that we didn't accept above, and then we went down. Now, the reaction when things like these happen is very important, because those show you how strong the rejection is going to be, or how strong what's called the coin is going to be. When we look at Solana, the reaction is bad, like really bad. And I have said it multiple times, I think Solana is the single worst looking major out there. Also, another good example of why fundamental news doesn't matter. This was the Solana ETF filing. That's this chaos over here. It's like 3 institutions something filed an ETF over here. But what did it do? It sent the coin down even more. Anyway, when we look at the technicals, I'm not going to use any harmonics for this because I know that a lot of you don't trade harmonics. So you're just listening to me like say random numbers and a bunch of random animals, and then you're like, okay, apparently that means we're gonna go up. I'm gonna use market structure, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna use traditional analysis because that is something a lot of people know. So let's do that. Let's use market structure and traditional analysis. First of all, swing failure patterns. It's very important to know. This means that this is very bearish. This is a doji candle close. Dojis indicate indecisiveness. Indecisiveness after a very strong uptrend, after we just picked shorts, it's a very bad sign. This told us we're going to go lower. So when we go into a lower time frame, we want to mark out our important highs and lows. That is something that you always do with traditional analysis. So we have our high, we have our low, higher low, higher high, then an attempt at a higher low. And that is very important. This was an attempt. That attempt got broken instantly. This is a lower low. Very important. We closed the candles below the previous wicks. This is a lower low. After this moment, you should look at this chart and see this chart is downtrending. And that is very important to realize. Solana is a downtrending token. Solana is not in an uptrend anymore in the 4 hour. That is why this coin is so unbelievably weak. This coin is downtrending. It is not uptrending anymore like the rest of the market. That's why it's underperforming. And this first break could have also just been a deviation, right? If you don't see it after the first break, that is very understandable, because what if it just deviates? Solana has been strong the entire cycle. That makes a lot of sense. It can deviate. However, when we keep going, we get this. These are SFPs. Now you got multiple wick rejections, so this is not decisive. So I'm going to pull this through. Go over here. No matter how you look at it, from this point on, there is no denying that this coin is downtrending. You can make an argument for an SFP. You can make an argument for a deviation. Completely valid. Both those arguments, I disagree with them, but they are valid. They're good arguments. After this, after you close the second one below, after you make another lower high, or over here, depending on how you measure, another lower high, and another lower low, you have no denying that this coin is downtrending. This coin is weak. As I said, we use traditional analysis. Let's do that. What is this? When we look at a coin like this, and we draw our trend lines, we draw them like this, because this way we get 3 touch, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4th one over here. So like this, I will zoom in a little. No, didn't get a retest, okay, sad. And on top, we also add that, like this. This is a bear flag. Not only are you downtrending, but you also made a bear flag. Where's that bear flag's target? We take the last tab of the higher box, put it over here. It's your bear flag target. Now this target essentially got hit. Didn't get hit, but like almost. Bear flag is kind of played out. And I don't use chart patterns in general, but this coin is weak. That's what I want to say about Sol. this coin is weak, and you should not be looking for Solana if you are looking for longs. If you're looking for shorts, that's when you should start looking at Solana. Now, keep in mind, this can change. If Solana closes the 4 hour above this wick, above 246, that's when it will be uptrending again on the daily. On the daily, on the 4 hour. But currently, this coin is really weak. If you want to look for shorts, look for Solana. So as for Sol, my outlook is bearish. Until proven otherwise, this coin is downtrending. And now all of that is just done with what's it called? With traditional TA, right? This is not my strength. I obviously know how traditional TA works. Paid for good news only. Well, you have come to the wrong spot. I am not a biased trader. I am a trader, so I will do whatever the charts tell me to do. And that is way better for your wallet than just having a bias. Yeah, we'll do XLM as well. That's fine. Now I'm gonna, because we went over Solana for quite a bit, right? I'm gonna also give you my actual, like, what I think is gonna happen to Solana based on harmonics. We are putting in a B point right now, in my opinion. Now, where that B point is gonna form a C point, we don't know. The likely area for a C point is either gonna be what we currently have, and this would be a very good C point considering the close. This is a very bearish close. This one right here, this daily close. This is a very bearish close. However, technically, we could go up to that C point, all the way over there. And then, because this is a 0.382, don't get scared. These are technical targets. These don't have to happen. This is where the bet forms. This is where I would consider long in Solana again, personally. That is where the harmonics form. And I know that that is an incredibly bearish target, and I know that most of you don't want to hear it. This is what the coin is telling me. The coin is downtrending, the coin SFP'd a major swing high, and the coin is forming a harmonic over to this level. Does this have to happen? It doesn't. The invalidation is very easy. If we start uptrending on a lower time frame, this play is entirely invalidated. There is invalidation. However, unless invalidated, this is valid. This is my play until proven otherwise. But that is also Sol. This stop loss, I don't think anyone's actually going to take that. That stop loss, I just randomly put it up below these lows, right? Don't actually set limits for this order. That is not an actual play, but that is more or less what I'm going to be looking for. We'll get there when we get there. Do we do render or FED or XLM? XLM is an entirely different token. Render and FED are both AI coins. I think FED is a very good AI coin as well. FED on a very high time frame, by the way. I'm still in the spot position. I think on a very high time frame, this coin looks fantastic. This coin looks really good on a high time frame. I think FED's gonna go way higher. I think Fed's target, this was a 382, so your first target is gonna be over here at the 886 at 314. Gio, you're gonna have some fun with that chart. Yeah, wait. Gio, small little detour. You have a bet at 3.14 with a BD of 3.14. Yeah, I just put it on my list. He saw it and instantly put it up there. This concept of where you have these fib levels. So 3.14 is just pi, right? Where you have pi at price pi. That is something that you use for squaring price over time. It's very complicated. I'm not going to go into that, but it's very interesting to see this happen. Okay, anyway, I think Fed looks really good. If you're looking for AI coins, I think Fed is one of the safest bets as well. Because Fed has merged into ASI, and that is just an AI supergiant. Because that's just a merge of a bunch of AI coins, and they are looking to add more AI coins into the project. So as far as bets go, I think Fed is a very safe option. Now that doesn't mean full port. This is resistance, and this is currently being flipped to support, but also resistance. And if you zoom in, this is a bearish Quasimodo. Or, differently put, this is a structure break. This is bearish. However, I would be interested in Fed somewhere along these lines. I'm rushing over it a bit because we've been going on for quite some time. But Fed is very interesting on a higher low. Now, I don't think this is the higher low. I think we're going to form it somewhere in this area. But in general, I think Fed looks really good. I wouldn't be bearish on Fed at all. If we go lower, I will simply buy more. That's my stance on Fed. Okay, now I think the next one was XLM. Did you sold I allocation? I think that's about Magic Eden. Yeah, I did. I sold everything at $6, more or less. I think my average sell is $6. I'm not sure. XRP and XLM. Okay, I'm gonna go over XRP first because XRP, I have the chart prepared. XRP on the macro time frame has hit very important levels. A friend of mine is in a bunch of long-term XRP. This is the TP1, this is TP2. TP2 has been hit. TP2 is a very high time frame godly. You can see it over here. This is a, what is it? We're almost at 2025 actually. I'm getting old. This is from 2018 to 2025. This is a 7-year-old godly. This is a very significant level. We SFP the level. Now SFP is not the correct term because there's no actual swing failure. The swing failure is over here. Let's call it a harmonic failure pattern. Something like that. Well, it is just bearish. This is not good. Closing way below this is not good. I think lower. However, we already got that lower. We went lower. We almost went to my target. My target, last stream I gave, was I said if we close below this, we will go to the bat. We front ran the bat, which is very sad because I was looking at this as well. I didn't get in on this, sadly. But I know a bunch of you did. Wills also had a really good call on this. It was really nice. But in general, currently I think XRP looks fine. However, I don't see it impossible to still touch the bat. I think because of this godly, because of this very high time frame godly, right? I think XRP heads lower until this godly is flipped to support. So what I want to see to be bullish on XRP again is I want to see this level flip to support. So when we zoom in, what I want to see is that we start building above this level. And when we do that, that is what I'm going to be looking for longs. So when we do this, I will start looking for longs. Until then, I will assume that XRP is going to go lower. Alternatively, if we do get another tap of this bat, I will long. I really wanted to long over here, but I didn't see it happen, which is really sad. So in general, I think for XRP, I think lower until proven otherwise. Because in general, this coin is very strong. This coin is uptrending. I wouldn't blindly short this coin either. And this is your macro target. Your macro target for XRP is $5. So would I short? No. Would I long? Also no, because we're simply not in an area to do that. But if you do flip this to support, I would absolutely long. Or if you touch the bat, I would also long. This coin is strong enough for me to say that I'm not going to short. I close my XRP long, not trading on the weekends. You know, I think taking profits is very good before weekends. I think that makes a lot of sense. But do note, okay, let me put it differently. When we look at a chart, when I look at a chart like this, in our analysis, we use everything. We use Mondays, we use news days, we use election days, we use days off, like holidays. We use weekends. So why, in our already existing plays, would we exclude the weekends? if we include it in our analysis, why would we exclude it in our plays? Now, if you don't want to open trades during the weekend because you think it's choppy, I agree. That makes a lot of sense. That is not something I personally do, but that makes a lot of sense. If you are in a trade and you want to take profits because it's weekends, that is something I also do. That also makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't fully close a trade just because it is weekend. If you have other analysis for it, so for example, if you're saying, hey, I don't like this candle that is kind of rejecting the top of this, and I'm going to close because of that, I think that's good. If you're closing it just because it's weekend, I wouldn't do that. It's already too late, right? You already closed. But in general, I would look for technical reasons why you should close a trade instead of just only seasonality. Taking profits because of seasonality makes a lot of sense. Taking profits because it's weekend makes sense. But if you want to get out of a trade because it's weekend, you can also just take some profits, move your stops to entry, and then see when the weekend ends. And obviously, if you have technical reasons, if this chart is telling you, hey, we're going to go lower, then you should close for sure. That's entirely up to you, right? But I wouldn't close just because it's weekend. Let me post this XRP chart. I need to include this as well. Gotta post it on Twitter later for clickbait. XRP is way too popular. I'm gonna close my XRP long. Okay, that is not what I meant. If you want to do, okay, if you want to do that, sure, but you should have your own reasons for it. If you have your own reasons for it, I will not go against you, right? Just make sure you are making an active choice. If you're making the choice, you have reason behind it. It's always the best choice, even if it ends up being the wrong choice, because at least you can learn from it. Okay, excellent. And then we have Ape and Tia, and then it's gonna be it. Those are the last two tickers. I have never charted this coin. You know what's the last time I charted this? Wait, I'm gonna flashbang all of you. The last time I charted this wasn't this chart, probably. It was a trend line. Hey, that worked out as well. That's a really good long. Peanut, I forgot Peanut actually. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do excellent first because I already opened it. I'm gonna do Peanut after. Okay, I'm not gonna chart this entire thing because I see a lot of harmonics. Yeah, okay, I see way too many harmonics to chart the entire thing, so I'm gonna show you the ones that are most relevant right now. And then we'll get to the rest some other day. So this is a cipher. Yeah, this is a cipher. I'm gonna take this from. I'm rushing over it a bit, right? I'm gonna take this from the 114 or the 141 to this. 141 should be somewhere over here. That's why I rejected off initially. Now the reason why I want to point that out is because ciphers, just like shards, often form 5-0s. Now this one wasn't entirely valid because of BD. I'm rushing over it a bit to get to the point where it is actually actionable. That is a really nice butterfly, actually. I should start trading this coin. Gold will be listed soon on Coinbase, apparently. I agree. Chart looks good. Yeah, good chance it does. This is a shame. This would be a target over here, but BD is way too high. Let's see. No, okay, I will keep it. This is not a harmonic I would actually short. Because of BD. BD is not valid. But 4.236 is a very valid number. If you get into extreme fibs, the fibs always go like this. It goes 1.618, 2.618, 3.14, 3.618, 4.236. This is the extreme numbers. For the extreme numbers, these are the most important fibs. This is one of them. It is simply out of bounds for this harmonic pattern. So it is very valid. It is just not valid for the pattern. So it uses as a target. Now, as for the long, we've already had one reaction, so the initial reaction is gone. We cannot take that entry anymore, because, well, price already reacted. But we can take a second reaction if we get it. So, this would be my PUZ box for the butterfly. Long story short, by drawing all of these fibs, I take this butterfly pattern. I draw everything manually, and I get a neat little box that is going to show me exactly where it's going to react. And then I remove this. And we have a neat little sport box. I'm bullish on Grassing when he shows me a spider trap. That was definitely one way to put it. Now, when we do that, when we get that sport box, we also get a neat little area where our C point could very well be over here. So essentially this area, this butterfly, if we get another reaction here, I would absolutely take it. Now the reason why I say reaction is because of this. We have a very important low over here. We did fill the wick. So these two are now just two lows next to each other. Both of these should contain stop losses. So for that reason, it is dangerous to just set a limit, because there's a decent chance it just rips through and then reclaims and then goes high. So I would wait for a reaction, and then once it reclaims, that's when I would go high. Your entry is my liquidation. You can do that. There's a good chance it just does this. If you want to do that, and you hate someone that is trying to long XLM, so let's take that wick. Slightly lower. It's like that. You can. This would be the long on the SFP, but I would just wait for candle closes. Honestly, I think that's better. Gonna remove it as well. I would wait for a reaction or for this to like completely SFP. Just gonna roll it around. And if it SFPs, you can enter on the close and then stops below the wick. And this will be the target. Both of these are reaction plays. Wait, let me actually remove that and put that on the image if people read it back later. Both are reaction plays. Okay, peanut. What's this? This is an anti-shark. It is an anti-shark, okay. Why did I chart the entire thing and then not finish it? I don't think I've ever done that before. I did all of the work of charting this thing manually and then just never finished it. There's the anti-shark, and then there's an anti-cipher at the 1272, so that's right over here. Do we include this 2618? I think we do. 2618 is very important. Anti-cipher, right over there. Okay, so because of the way the fibs are structured in this part, I would not actually take a play in this area. Because you have an anti-shark over here, you have an anti-cipher over here. Long story short, these are two very important levels that are very close to each other. So trading this is very volatile. Trading this is very tricky. However, you have a pretty big gap in between these two. So whenever you flip this area to support, just like we did over here, you can take a trade up until this area. Now I would front run the speed a little because you can see over here we front run it as well. So I would front run it, but I think this is a very interesting play. And I wouldn't actually put it below the box. I would just put it at the mid of that. Just take something like that. Instantly, that's a very nice play. On top of that, this is a possible play. I wouldn't take this because look at the chop in between. You have two areas this close to each other. This is just going to chop. So I think this is way more interesting. And same thing on the other side, right? If you show good reaction there, I would also short this. And then short it over here. You would always TP this level. Put a purple over here because this is very important. Same for here. If we do break out of it, you long the flip. All of this is based off of this pattern over there. No, a TP1 is your entry. Hey, nice one. Way better, way better. We're improving. So that's it for Peanut. Very fast because I already had a chart. I don't think I've ever done that, where I chart the entire harmonic out and then just don't finish it. Okay, let's look at Ape. Ape. Okay, I'm gonna showcase this first. I think I need to go into... Yeah, I need to go into this one first. First of all, I want to say on a high time frame, Ape is one of the best looking charts out there. For the reason I did this. We have a very important low over here, all-time low, and not only that, but it is also $1. $1 is obviously a very important level because it is $1. The same reason everyone on Bitcoin was looking at 100k, people on coins like these are looking at $1 because it is just such a nice number. You want the coin to be above $1. It's just such a good psychological level. We deviated below this level. And we traded a lot below this level. This is bad. However, the moment we broke out of this and reclaimed it, we confirmed this as a deviation. Which now means that, in theory, we should not go below this area anymore. Filecoin looks good, yeah. Filecoin is one of my top picks, honestly. I think that coin looks fantastic. So I think on a high time frame, this coin looks fantastic. I think this is a really good coin on a high time frame. I think this coin, the technical target for this deviation, in my eyes, is just this high. And if you think this is not possible by looking at the chart, if you think that is very unlikely, I want to show you a CRV. This is the same chart. This is literally the same chart. We had the old all-time low right over here. We then deviated below it. We're on a higher time frame now, right? We deviated below it, and we reclaimed it, and that sent higher. This is the same chart. And CFE didn't take this high, right? This is the high I'm targeting. Yet. It can do that, it took this high instead. That is also why I don't think this is your final... I mean, that is your final target. I don't think that's your only target. This is a very significant high. So is this. So is this. Just taking liquidity levels, I think Ape is going to go to these. I think Ape looks very good on a high time frame. Now, I will say this is a tricky area to enter because your invalidation is 37% below you. That is too much. Just bluntly put, that is too much. If you are a really patient trader and you want to really take it slow, you can start a position However, this for my doing is too much. This is not an area where I want to enter. If you get lower though, if you ever retest this area, if you ever retest $1, then that becomes very interesting. So my opinion on Ape is that we are going to go a lot higher, but I wouldn't know where to enter. We had an entry, a long entry on Ape. But in general, I don't think the long entry would have lasted because I think you'll also likely get stopped out. We're not forming any harmonics here. That's the thing. That's the thing that worries me. We're not forming anything new. Let me actually get on my trading chart because I have Ape charted and I know there's something. Oh wait, wrong list. Where is Ape? This is unbelievably chaotic. Yeah, we're currently at an... That is not an anti-shark. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, we're currently at an anti-shark and we are flipping into sport. So, I think this is good. I think, quite frankly put, I think Ape looks fantastic. Yeah, so that's an Ape. I think on a very high time frame, it looks absolutely fantastic. And I think on a lower time frame, it also looks good. This is a coin I also just have on my list to trade because I think this coin is going to run eventually. Okay, Tia, I'm going to actually make Tia really short because I go over Tia twice a stream. Because I use Tia a lot for examples and I also get requested Tia a lot. Same chart on Tia. Wait, you guys like the spider webs, right? Wrong chart. You like the spider webs, right? Tia has one as well. I like my Tia chart a lot. And of course, E joins in.
Bro, I join it and I see this chart. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise. He's been showing me this type of charts every single day. No, don't remove it now. I already seen it.
No, I'm hiding the not useful. Bro, can you actually look at this chart to see anything?
Wait, let me make a full screen for you.
Okay, honestly, I kind of can read it.
Yeah, I see it. I see lines that are like fucking I am in the EDM show. It only missing the fucking lights. If you add like green, red, and blue, I'm gonna feel like in the EDM show.
Well, you do make a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lying.
Maybe I should become a DJ instead. I see a dinosaur in this chart. Hey, you know what? Fair enough. This is one of those ink tests, you know? Complicated than most people's situationship these days.
Okay, bro. Wait. Where's my trading view? Okay, everybody.
Okay, as for the actual chart, this is the fancy chart, of course, but everything apart from the circle on top is something I actually use in this chart. Over the past few streams, this is where I said every time, like, I think this is the area you buy. Let me go through the actual TU chart I use for analysis.
How the fuck do I... Oh, okay.
I think if it wasn't for how I view the macro chart, I think this would be a very good spot to get TIA. I think the macro looks too bad on other charts. Alright, now let's see. E, what do you have on your trading view?
I'm just gonna show how to fucking get the same thing with drawing simple charts. No, I'm just... Guys, whoever's in the audience, Grizzly is a really good trader. And to understand this type of patterns and lines and fibs, it's like requires intense study, right? He does it. He does a great work. Don't get me serious, but don't try to make this within a month. Okay, that's what some of you may having a problem with it. Don't try to make this within a month. It takes time, but these are solid. That's what I'm gonna say. Start with basics, okay? this kind of like advanced kind of math, right? 2 + 2 is 4, maybe, I don't know. But you can get the same result with like adding, multiplying, dividing, and square root and shit like that. So it's basically like that.
I really appreciate that. And he's
Of
completely right.
course.
If you do find things like these interesting, stick to the fundamentals first. Stick to actually the core concepts first. Like market structure and time frame alignment, in my eyes, are the most important things. After that, you can slowly build it up. Regular fib levels are a more simple way of using harmonics. Harmonics rely on Fibonacci levels. So if you want to learn harmonics, learn Fibonacci levels first. If you like fibs and you understand them fully, then maybe add some diagonals into the mix, etc. Do it one by one. Don't do it all at once. That's gonna make it way too complicated. Okay, do you want to screen share? Because you wanted to show something.
Oh no, I was just shitting. But I can show you how. Like everybody knows like how to draw fibs, right? One of my favorites is trend-based fibs. You can get very simple indicator from like long short position by doing trend fib indicator.
Wait, let me actually pull it up. For the record, you cannot actually screen share like two
Yeah, I
screens at the
cannot.
same time.
Yes, yes.
So if you want to just say it, and I'll turn mine off.
No.
But
You're all good, my friend.
but what he's talking about is this. Trend-based fibs give you really good levels. So you take a very important low, for example, then a high after that, then a low after that. It is essentially a fib, but you use more levels than that. And then as you can see, this is OKX, right? Liquidity is not that good. As you can see, we react really well to these levels. We front run consistently because of the exchange. We react really well to these levels. That's what you can use them for. Trend-based fibs are really nice. I appreciate that, Sky. That's really nice. Okay, yeah, but for TIA itself, I think TIA on a macro time frame is in a very good spot. However, I think the general market is not that good. So if you are not exposed to TIA, I think this is an okay spot to start positioning. However, I would keep in mind that it is possible to go lower because I don't think the general market is ready for higher. Starting a position makes a lot of sense here. You can average down a little and your invalidation is losing this little red line. However, just fully allocating here doesn't make a lot of sense because you have quite a far stop and BTC is at a very important area. So as for T, I think starting a position is fine. I just wouldn't fully allocate. That's also why I sold my short-term position in profit, but I'm keeping my long-term position because I want to reduce short-term exposure. But on a high time frame, I think this chart looks incredible. I still think TIA is going to go make new highs. I still think TIA is going to eventually go to $22. But that is a long-term, like a really long-term target. Short-term, not too sure where we go. Long-term, I think we go higher. I just joined currently. I'm all in USDT. Do you think now is a good time to buy altcoins on spot, or should I wait for a better entry point? I recommend before entering, get onto the charts and start charting and try and understand things. So look at what people are posting. For example, when you go to the server, right? When you go to Unity, all the way at the top is Archmeister. I think Archmeister is a great place to start when going for trading because Archmeister is very good at using traditional chart patterns and support and resistance. So what I recommend is look at his trades first and try and truly understand what he's doing. Look at the play and see, hey, why is he buying there? Hey, there's a support line there. What does that mean? And why is there a support there? Understand that and try and understand portfolio management, and then you can slowly start building positions. I don't recommend just buying coins now because you don't know what the market's going to do. You're very new to the market, from what I can tell from your message. So I recommend getting some knowledge first before actually getting into the market. Okay. Last coin before I'm gonna go off because we've been streaming for 2 hours now was Phil. This coin looks good, fire. This coin looks really good. When you zoom out on Phil, you're gonna get this. Because this coin's all-time high is 240 essentially. It might even be high. Yeah, this coin's... Yeah, no, it's 240. However, and that's why Rio is suggesting it as well. If you pull a volume profile, what you can see is this. We have very, very clean price action of Filecoin. We very clearly flipped the value area low to support, and not only did we do that, we also wicked all of the stop losses over there and closed way above. We then went above all of this, broke out of the point of control entirely, rejected value area high, and came back and retested this BSC support. This is very clean price action, and what this is showing us is that we are now likely going to test at least this again. If we flip this to support, we have a lot of room to go higher. If we flip this to support, our first major TP is going to be over here. But apart from that, you have like a massive gap all the way over here. So I think Filecoin is in a really good spot. The problem is that you're in the middle of everything. This was the place to enter, and I saw it over here and just didn't take it. The next place to enter is likely going to be either a retest of this, a sweep of the lows, or a reclaim of this very area high. If you do this, that's when I would enter.
One thing you can get into position right now, Curiosity, if you want to open the Solana and the Pocket chart, they have good correlation at the moment, and I all long Solana, and it retested the buyer zone.
That is very funny. You know why? I do agree, but I do agree that in this specific scenario, Solana is not bad to long if you got in over here. But I spent like an entire, like I think it was like 15 to 30 minutes just shit talking Solana.
I longed it at 222.8, but I was gonna long the market long Popcat at 1208, but it set a limit accidentally and it flight right now 124, and I'm crying my soul out right now. Check Popcat as well. Look at the reaction of it.
Oh yeah, I can see Popcat actually. This is very clean reclaim.
Look, it's gonna go to 1.5 soon. Like
I can
see
actually
it.
put this here. This is very clean reclaim. Just deviated below and just reclaimed. This looks very good.
Yeah,
I like this chart a lot more than Solana.
Just go, if it goes back to 121, I would suggest some of you go low margin, low leverage with long position, and I will take a profit at like previous trend lows, right?
Yeah,
I'm on drugs, so I cannot tell right now. Yeah.
Essentially, more or less, the easiest long you can take is this. And it's actually just saying, hey, we reclaimed this range, we reclaimed this little blue line over here. Yeah. And every time we bounce off of it, we get a really good reaction. We're currently reclaiming it, so if you do get back to it, you have a very easy play to make, and your TP1 is just going to be this.
Yes. Do you know why everybody in the audience, do you know why I long Pepe or fuck with Pepe so much? Because it always respects the lines. It always respects the trend lines. It always respects like breakouts and everything. So if you catch the retest, you just got a long every time, and it never been wrong at the moment.
Yeah, no, Pepe is a really good coin to trade. Also, whenever I look at Pepe nowadays, like I literally cannot chart a short anymore unless like specific scenarios. Like this was a really nice short, but in general, this coin is too strong.
Look, I said that. Do you remember the exact TP when it was going up near set new all-time high? I said go to 4R 22874. I still remember it, and it went down to 2277.
Yeah, I mean I remember because I told you in call that day that was like a fib as well, because when you This is a shark, and sharks have this tendency to form 5-Os at the 0.5 fib. And that level that you talk about is that 0.5 fib. So this is a bullish harmonic right over here.
Yep. You see how it's easy without the doing it with the harmonics, without the harmonics.
Yeah, you can see it.
You just have to have a magical eyesight, I guess.
Yeah. But you get that as well with harmonics. Because I don't when I chart for myself, I just look at charts beforehand and I only chart them when I take a position to like share. Because when I look at a chart, like I can look at a chart like this, and I will just I'll kind of see the harmonics. It's on a 1 hour. I can kind of see the harmonics, so I know that there is a. What I'm looking at this structure right now. I know that there's a Leo in this area. I know there's a bat in this area. So I know both of these are very likely to react. And same thing for this. Not one. This one. Same thing for this structure. This is a white swan. At some point you develop eyesight for it. At some point you can see it in the charts. But at first it just takes a lot of time. At first you need to study a lot.
You people on the audience right now, what did you learn from this stream? I'm just asking a general question if it added something to you.
What did you guys learn from the stream? I'm curious.
I always ask.
Spiderweb's
Spider-Man's
good.
like
A chart about Polity showed I'm not bullshitting.
Is a short position?
Yeah, these are bearish harmonics. So you could short these.
Yeah. I just realized from the fib, trend-based fib.
Yeah.
God damn, bro has everything.
Do you know what trend-based fibs are based on? Because I only very recently figured this out.
What? Bearish harmonic patterns?
Do you know what lightning patterns are?
Say that again?
Do you know what a lightning pattern is?
Yes.
Yeah. Trend-based fibs are lightning patterns. So, for those here in chat that don't know what a lightning pattern is, lightning patterns are very old patterns. It's a form of, yeah, it's a form of traditional TA that is like as old as trading floors. This is something they used to do on trading floors. Essentially, what the pattern is, if you have a move that is this long, that then retraces, just like that, and you start going down again, you can take a move of the same length. Oh, copy this as well. And you can expect a reaction at the same length. Now, this is not 100% precise. Obviously, this is a very nice area to have. What trend-based fibs are, if I take only the 0 and the 1, and I place this right over there, right over on that high, what you will see is that it is going to give me the exact same level as that trend-based fib. This is what trend-based fibs are.
And that's also a very good way to place bets. And if you notice the Arch's bets, right? He always snipes those minimal wicks, right? Like you think it will never hit that level, and you see 2 weeks later, exact level hits, and he is up like 1,000%. You know why? It's because this is deep down analysis and being with patient. You know, if you have patience, those limits will hit, and you're gonna make insane amount of money.
It's true. That's also what my high time from Eve targets are. My high time.
Do you keep those trend lines? Curiosity.
Your mic cut out. Didn't hear that entirely.
Click on that fib trend based fib. Open it up.
This one.
From the line bottom to up. Yes. Wait. Trend based fib. Okay. Let me see. Wait. Let me see mine order quick.
I have adjusted these to fit harmonics. It's just my harmonic preset.
Oh, I removed one thing. It doesn't show that arrow. Okay, fib levels based on log scale. Can you turn that off real quick?
Sure.
Okay. I like this better because it doesn't show the arrow, you see? Oh, what the fuck? Where's the arrow? I don't know. Fuck it. Some people will confuse because if you first time, yes, trend line. Okay, yeah, trend line. If you are using first time trend based fib extension, you're gonna see this like trend line. It may help, but I don't like it.
No, I only have it enabled because I need it for harmonics. That's also why I
Yeah,
only have it enabled on the trend-based fib.
sure. Okay, that's it from me interrupting your city's stream. Sorry about that, and have a nice stream, guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's good having you on.
Okay.
Okay, that is going to be it for me as well, though, because we've been streaming for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Quite some time, but that was a good stream. That was worth it. But anyway, I'm going to end the stream here as well. I'm going to end the recording as well.